Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be going over our weekly forecast from December 29th until January 5th. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family on social medias if you think they will enjoy the content. First things first, let's take a look at last week's temperature forecast. We always compare this to what actually happened. So you can see we were expecting colder than normal conditions in the southwestern United States and a bit of the northwestern United States as well, but mostly warm for the eastern and central regions of the United States, especially from the Great Lakes and then down through the deep south regions of the United States. So from the Great Lakes to about Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, I would say. Now, take a mental memory of this. We're about to switch the frame right now to what actually happened, and I think we did a pretty darn good job. I think that we underdid the cold for the Northwest a little bit, and we also underdid the warmth there in the eastern and central United States, but really it was very, very close to being perfect, and the placement was just great there with the warmth in the east. But let me know what you thought of last week's forecast in the comments down below. I would be happy to hear what you guys thought. Now, we're about to get into our actual precipitation forecast for this week and then our temperature forecast after that. And we'll also go over our special notes towards the end of the video, which is going to be super exciting to take a look at with you guys. Alright, so here is our first layer on our precipitation forecast. So you can see we're expecting more dry than normal conditions there for the southwestern United States into some of the south central United States as well. So from California through Nevada into the Four Corner States and then down there in through Texas and Oklahoma. We're expecting a little bit more drier than normal conditions, but really when you're in this first shade, it's not going to be too noticeable, and really it's just going to be below average on paper. Let's go ahead and add our first layer of above average precipitation, and you can see there for the northwestern United States, the Pacific Northwest, and then in through some of those northern Rockies regions, we are expecting to be slightly above average as far as precipitation is concerned. Again, in that first shade, you won't really notice it, but we do actually have a second shade there for the Pacific Northwest. More of the higher elevation regions in Washington, I'm expecting a bit more precipitation comparatively to normal, compared to the areas outside of those mountainous regions. Now, we also have an above average precipitation region for the eastern United States and in through the Midwest as well, and that's highly associated with our winter storm Gage, by the way, which is definitely a very major blizzard that's going on. We'll talk more about that in our special notes segment of the video, but all you need to know is we're expecting a lot of precipitation for these areas out east, and you can see we even have a moderately above average precipitation section there for some of the Great Lakes and then down through into the deep south as well, and it's going to be a little bit more noticeable in that deeper green. Now we're about to get started with your official temperature forecast, which is going to be very, very exciting to take a look at. We're going to go over where to expect above average conditions and then where to expect below average conditions. I can't wait to take a look at it with you guys. Alright, so as you can see, we're starting out with our first area of above average temperatures here. You can see for Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and California, we are expecting warmer than normal conditions, at least slightly. In this first shade, it won't be too noticeable though, as I've said before, for these first shade areas. So for California, Nevada, and then the Pacific Northwest, it's going to be a bit warmer than normal, and you guys could really use a break from the cold. You guys have been getting cold and snowy conditions lately, and we're going to get a bit of a break from that here, as this forecast indicates. Let's add our second area of above average temperatures though, and you can see from the central United States eastward, we are expecting at least slightly above normal conditions as far as temperatures are concerned, from the Dakotas in through Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, eastward into the Great Lakes, including in some of the northeastern United States and the New England states, down through the mid-Atlantic, and then some of the Gulf states as well, and then the South Central states, so Texas, Oklahoma, and then the Southeast states, like I said before, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina as well. Everywhere is looking to be slightly above normal as far as temperatures are concerned that are on this map. Now let's add our second layer of above average temperatures here, and you can see from Minnesota down through Iowa into the Great Lakes regions, and then southward down there into the deep south states and even into the southeastern United States. We're all expecting to be moderately above average temperatures. And it's going to be very noticeable in these regions that it is quite a bit above average temperatures. We even have our third shade of above average temperatures here, which is just indicating very far above normal temperatures from Minnesota down through Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas. Some of the Gulf states, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana as well. All of these areas are expected to be far above normal temperatures, and you're definitely going to notice that it's quite a warm week comparatively to normal for you guys down there. Now we're about to get into our below average temperature regions where you can see where we're expecting colder than normal conditions, even though you can probably figure it out just from looking at this map where it would go, but we are going to talk about that. All right, so here we go. This is our first layer of below normal temperatures here. You can see from the four corner states, so Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, in through Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana, as well as some portions of Nevada and California. We are expecting to have slightly below average temperatures for these regions. These areas have been up and down as far as temperatures so far this cold season, and it's really been, like I said, just up and down. I am expecting that we will have some storminess, so we might have some snow come together for the Rockies. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not really seeing a specific storm yet, but we might actually see something come together, like I said. Let's add our second layer of below normal temperatures, though, and you can see this is going to extend from Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, and this is where it's going to be a bit more noticeable that it is below average temperatures for the week, and it's actually on paper going to be pretty far below normal. Again, we'll have to take a look in next week's weekly forecast where we'll compare this to what actually happened, but I think this will do quite well. Again, there might be some precipitation later on in the week that comes in off the west coast and actually heads inland to actually meet up with these below average temperatures, and we might get a snowstorm or two to come together. We'll have to wait and see. That would be exciting to see. The west has been a little bit quiet ever since we had that big storm up there for the northwest. And then, obviously, our winter storm Gage started down there in the southwestern United States. But ever since then, we've been kind of quiet. So we'll have to see if things continue to be active or if we're going to see things really, really begin to just really quiet down for the most part. Now, we're about to get into our special note segment of the video, which is going to be super exciting. We have two special notes, I think, for you guys here. Both are snowstorms, so it's going to be very, very exciting to talk about that with you guys. All right, so as you can see, our special note number one is for Winter Storm Gage, and this is going to be a major, major blizzard that is going to be extended from today all the way through the 1st of January here, which is going to be very exciting to get into 2020 with you guys, which is going to be my third year of doing YouTube. I'm very excited to just get started with that with you guys. Going to be super duper awesome to start a new year. But we do have our major blizzard, and again, I was calling it a blizzard all along, and people were like, why are you calling it a blizzard? There is no blizzard warnings, and why are you calling it this? Well, now we have blizzard warnings, and I knew it was going to be a blizzard because of the wind that we saw, and then the intensity in the snow. I knew we would eventually have blizzard warnings come up, and sure enough, they're there now, but we definitely have a major blizzard going on, especially for the Dakotas and Nebraska and Minnesota, it's a blizzard. In the other areas, you could argue that it's a very heavy snowstorm, but the storm overall I would consider a blizzard just because we do have blizzard conditions within it. But we're expecting tons and tons and tons of snow for these purple areas. It's just going to accumulate. Might be one of the most major winter storms of the year, actually. I'm predicting. I think it's going to be a top 3 of this winter for sure. So definitely take it in because it is a major one. I know a lot of you that live up there don't enjoy the snows. A lot of the people that live further south and don't get as much, but definitely take it in if you are a snow lover that lives in the Midwest or the Great Lakes. Let's get into special note number 2, and this is actually also associated with Winter Storm Gage here we see in the northeastern United States. It's going to cross over the Midwest and Great Lakes and eventually head in to New England and the northeastern United States, but I definitely did not want to consider it a blizzard for these regions as we're not really going to be dealing with quite as much of that wind or the intensity of snowfall, so it's not going to come together like it is in the Midwest and the Great Lakes. But from New York through Vermont and a little bit of Massachusetts as well, but mostly for New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine and Massachusetts, we're expecting snowfall, but to some of those states like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, We could see a lot of ice with this one, so pay attention. I think yesterday's video was on this storm for the northeastern United States, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think so. So if you were curious about the northeastern portion of this storm, you could check out that video. It has a lot more details. We looked at the Futurecast radar, the total snowfall, all sorts of fun stuff. So if you do live in these regions and you are curious about that storm, please be sure to check out that video so you get the most accurate information possible. And also always pay attention to the National Weather Service and what they're issuing as far as watches, warnings, and advisories. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to share it with your friends and family on social medias like I said before, and I'll see you guys in the next video.